Okay. Hey, Mascara. That's Rob. That message was left at 7:43. Going to go dancing with Leo Sayer. With Leo Sayer. Does Leo Sayer have a wife? He'll be dancing with his wife, maybe. Robert. Whatever. It's up to yourself. So, as you might have by now have registered, and already, like a lot of people do know that Jason won't be joining us this evening. So I'll be here on my own for the couple of hours, assuming I can sort of make it that far. We'll see what happens. How you doing, Chris? Are you well? And so poor Al J got a dose of the, you know what, you know what I mean. Yeah. So I guess Jay can count himself lucky in a sense, right? Lucky because he's out doing what I want to do. I want to be out there inoculating myself against the latest thing. So, and Jay has just been exposed to whatever is going around in that hospital where Super Leeds is, and of course, like hospitals are. You know, you're taking your life in your hands when you go into hospital because hospitals are sort of like the breeding ground for all types of nasties and stuff, like, and up to and including superbugs. So, you know, hospital is a great place to pick stuff up. Like, so Jay and his wife have been down and been down hard. Jay was the last to go down. His wife was already sick. I was chatting to him there, I think, last Saturday, maybe. Was it last Saturday I was chatting to Jay? I can't remember. But so his wife went down first. She was already sick 2 days at that stage, and then Jay went down the other night. So it was a Saturday night he went down. So and so it took longer to hit Jay. Um, so hopefully he'll be okay, and I'm sure he'll be okay. I'm sure he'll be okay if he hasn't taken any of those medical interventions. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. I'm not sure how he fared out, like whether he caught any of the earlier versions of the Wu flu. That I don't know. I assume he did, like, I assume he did because he never did he stop going? I don't think he, because like he didn't wear masks or nothing like that. So I assume he just carried on life as normal. So he must have had earlier exposure to it. So, but I do know that there is a real nasty little bugger of a bug going around. My brother's son had it there. Had it for about a week or maybe a week and a bit. Really nasty dose that he just couldn't shake. Usually the young ones sort of like they just uh, they just fight these things off no problem, like so. But this one is hitting the kids fairly hard. So that's the only people I know about at the moment who've been got their really exposed to the you know what, like so. And this is what we're all going to have to be doing. You know, we can't be hiding in our front rooms this year, hoping that we're going to avoid whatever's going around, because I don't think that's the way it works. Whether you believe in bugs or viruses, it's irrelevant. Like, you know, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, there's more work needs to be done on those topics just to 100% discount the terrain theory, because I'm not 100% sold on it, like, you know, but it kind of makes sense, like, but I'd like to see more scientific talk and discussion on the topic. So I said hello to Chris, and how you doing, David, and Mia Media Mogul. How you doing? Welcome to the chat, and say hello to Uni as well. And Tony's in the house, and Kendo's in the house. Soon, what have you? tuned in, Jay. I'm pretty sure Jay probably is tuned in from someplace. I assume it's not on the moon or anywhere out in outer space, because I don't think outer space would have him, because he's not a believer. He just doesn't have the faith. So that's the story with our Jason now for the moment. So he's okay, but he's just been sleeping. He's been sleeping a lot. I think he slept 3 straight days. I think that's what he was saying earlier on. For anybody, anybody's in the Telegram will know, of course. But like, he slept for 3 straight days. Like, and on the third day he arose at 6:30 in the evening, apparently, allegedly. So, poor dude, and I know I hate being sick. Thankfully, now we've got some wood here. It doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, I know I'm going to have to go out and catch whatever bugs are going around. So I've got to make my business to catch them. So, like we did in the old days, when chicken pox were going around, the first thing you done was your parents picked all the kids up and put them together with whoever had the chicken pox, just so that like you'd get inoculated. There was a lot of truth to what the old people used to do, like years ago. Like, they grew up hardy and strong. But I think the health of people is really going downhill this last few years. Maybe 40, 50 years. And I'll just put it down to my idea is that, like, it's very, very. You see, when they're treating symptoms and stuff like that, they're not addressing the proper issues at all. That's my take on it anyway. So, and I'm pretty sure quite a few probably agree to me, like, especially with the levels of contamination in the processed foods that people are ingesting, and they think it's food, like, your supermarket bought pizzas and your packets of noodles that you just add water to and they're ready in 5 minutes, and it's got all that goody soup in there with what's in those. I often wonder what those little red specks are, because I'm not sure they're pieces of carrot. I don't know. How you doing, Donna? So, anyway, I didn't put a whole lot together tonight. I really didn't. I was too busy. I was too busy this last 5 days, really. Doing a few bits and pieces on the website when I get a bit of time to do it, And so I've been devoting a good bit of time into that and taking some time out from following the goddamn news cycle, because it's just, when you reach that stage where you say, God, I need a break from this, it's like everyone is just getting to me, just about everyone. It doesn't matter who they are, and they're all mostly truthers, mostly truthers. They call themselves truthers, and that's the way they are. It's like they're going to wake everybody up. It's just, they're still there. They're still there. These people who just still running around trying to wake people up. They should probably just go get the walkie, get it over and done with, because they're infected with a virus which is far worse than the you know what. Fucking far worse. Like this thing that you can wake people up. Are you crazy? It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Chris is saying, I thought I caught it shaking lots of hands and touching people. That might do it, Partridge. Might do it. Touching people. That's don't be doing that. You should. That's what happens. You see, when you don't adhere to the 6 foot rule. You're just going to go and get it. You're saying, Jimmy, those so-called truthers are just in it for the money. No, not all of them. Not all of them. Some of them are just idiots and just doing it because they feel it's their patriotic duty. Yeah, true. There's a lot of truthers making a hell of a lot of money out of it, like your Corbett's and your Whitney Webbs, your AJ's, and even Bannon must be making a fortune with the war. Stephen Crowder, I'm not sure what to make of it. I was listening to him earlier on. It uh, sounded like he's just reading too much of the mainstream news. And I like him. I like Crowder because he's kind of funny at times. You know, him and his team, like, you know, a bunch of lads sitting around fucking just taking the piss and fucking talking shite. And it does be good sometimes. You know, they got a good setup, but still, I question them. I questioned them. I don't trust anybody. That's what I got from my 2.5 years now in lockdown. I don't trust anyone apart from the crew here. A few isolated people that I know here in Ireland, but we're kind of like dotted all over the place. You know, it's not like we can just call around for a cup of tea and just visit each other. Like, you know, living opposite ends of the country. Like, we're all online these days, of course. You know, and this is the main thing. It's like we don't have that in-person contact anymore. It's hard to get. Like, it's hard to get that intimate contact. I'm not even sure I'm able to do it anymore, just like that. Except if it's me mom, you know, it's me mom. That's different. Or there's not that many people now just interested in interacting with, like, at the moment. And I mean, society is just so polarized. Really, it's like, you know, you don't know what you want to talk to people about because you're pretty sure that 80% of the people that I'm likely to meet are just, they've got Ukrainian flags on their Facebook profiles. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure they all have, and they share their and they run around and show each other on their telephones. Oh, look at my profile. See, I got the Ukrainian flag, you know. And then they order another pint and go down to the other end of the counter, stare into their smartphone until they find something else to go running up the counter to and say, "Oh, look, what did you see this? Did you see this?" No, there's something wrong with the communities. Are something wrong with the communities here. I think just finding it hard to just. I like them well enough, like, but I just don't. I can't sort of like connect with them. Don't have that connection. It's like It's like I might as well be living on Mars, assuming there is such a thing as a place called Mars. Could be just a Rice Krispie, Rice Krispie painted onto the dome that surrounds the Earth. No. Yeah, I think we're moving into a different world now. It's like I was listening to the Santi for Sweden the last couple of days, and so-called truther, and he's totally losing it, absolutely losing it. Hey, Jason. Jason's in the chat. I'm going to scroll back up just in case I miss anybody. So, or anything that got visiting Leeds, and I've had a message from his missus today saying that he's getting stronger every day. So there's Jason in the chat there for anybody who can't see the YouTube chat. Like, and our Leeds is getting stronger every day. Yeah, I would not count that lad out at all, Jay. Just wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. Miracles do happen, you know, even to people who might be classified as non-believers sometimes. But like, I think everybody believes in something, you know. If they just make it up. That's like I do. And how you doing, Bandit Buster? Or Busta, I should say. Bandit Busta. Bandit Busta. Anyway, try keep up with his chat if I can with a broken mouse. Everybody's having a chat among each other. Kenda's saying, makes you wonder what's floating around in the hospitals. Well, I kind of remember hospitals. I kind of worked in hospitals, and one thing that you were always guaranteed to get floating around hospitals was dainty little nurses, nice nurses' uniforms on. And, and if you've ever worked with nurses, man, oh, they're crazy. They're crazy. It's all, you don't get that many male nurses, especially back when I was exposed to that role in 95 or 94 in England. I was in Harperbury Hospital. I'll get back to the truthers in a minute, like just on a diversion, like. But floating around in hospitals, there's always these lovely little nurses, and they always bring a smile to your face, and some of them can be very, very dirty-minded now. You wouldn't know what they're likely to say to you. So, but yeah, these truthers, like, I'm just fucking laughing at them now. It's like, just can't take these guys seriously. It's like one of them, like he was, oh, the evil is gone, like, and our our favorite Irish poet, and and now I was listening to this Sanity for Sweden. I think it was last couple of mornings in a row, and he's salivating over this Giorgio Maloney. Giorgio Maloney. So, if you haven't been paying attention, or if you have been perhaps got lost under a rock somewhere and missed all the news, we have a conservative leaning government in Italy now. Far right, of course, naturally far right, I suppose somebody has to be opposed to the far left. 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, like, but this Santi for Sweden guy, and he's all right, but he's like one of these lads, he just rattles on and on and on about the plague, it's the plague, the plague, the plague. Excess, excess, what, as in the dropping over for no apparent reason. And these type of truthers, they're kind of stuck on the one narrative all the time, and they keep pounding on and on and on because they think they're waking people. They clearly didn't get the message that he's in a little echo chamber, speaking to himself and those who will agree with him. So anyway, he's salivating over this Giorgio Maloney. She's not the PM yet, like, as some commentators would say. Italy, politics and Italy is a funny thing. So even though she's tipped to be PM, it might turn out the way, I don't know how it works. It's obviously very, very corrupt in Italy. Backhanders and stuff are obviously something like that, and backroom deals. But maybe they all work like that. Maybe all governments work like that. So she is expected to be the next PM, and I have to say, she says some reasonable things, like, but you see, at the end of the day, it's still also scripted. It's all perfectly managed out, and it's all been written down, and they have a script that's very, very easy to follow. Very, very easy to follow. And the script goes something like this. Okay, we have the whole place turned upside down. We have it. We've had a tizzy fit. We've had a tizzy fit in the bar. We've broken all the glasses, and everybody's idea and perception of reality is just torn to pieces. They don't know whether they're coming or going, and everybody knows there's something wrong. So this is them. Like, so we'll write them a little script now, and we'll solve their problems for them. Right? So okay. So we've had all this LGBTQ plus and every pronoun to beat the band, and you've got the zombies all running around proclaiming pronouns. And more than likely, most of them are all just crisis actors and paid to do a job. But like, so we have the so-called far right being introduced now as the solution to the problem. What's the problem? Like, well, I suppose the problem is everything and anything. What's the real, apart from the real problem, which of course would be financial related, like, and the collapse of, I think, probably the monetary system globally, possibly. You know, I think we're watching that happen. Like, you know, so back to our sanity for Sweden. I mean, he's okay. He's all right. Swedish, you know, it's a bit tricky to get into the Swedes and the way they talk. They're a bit. It's painful having to listen to them. You almost like you need to be taking naps as they're trying to tell stories. You know, so take a nap here. I'll wake up in about 5 minutes, and I should be able to pick it up from there. But he doesn't seem to get that this Giorgio Maloney won't be coming as a saviour. Now, he was jumping up and down about the far right in Sweden having won. Delighted about that. So I'm just curious to see what they'll do. I'm not interested in what they're saying. I want to see what they do. So they'll offer the solution. You know, I think the time is kind of ripe, really, for some sort of a savior to be introduced onto the scene. You know, clearly, Mr. Poutine is not going to be that savior, despite what some so-called truthers would tell you. Like, you know, he's far from a savior. You know, Mr. Poutine. He's probably quite a gangster deep down. I've seen some curious interviews, or not interviews. There was old video footage of him, like as he was. I must root it out. I think I can find it. I could find it if I was searching back for it, and I know where to look for it. But he was trying to get a factory up and running again where the unions had it shut down, like, you know, and he was a real tyrant in that board. Made sure every single one of the union guys signed it. And you could tell by his face that if you're not going to sign, I've got boys there, they'll take you out the back and pop you one in the head. Like, it was that sort of a face he had on him. So, Vladimir now, just he's not coming as a savior, I don't think. Clearly something has changed. We're on a different timeline. This is the way I'm reading it now. We're on a different timeline. Something has changed. Vladimir Putin is not getting Ukraine as easy as he thought. America is just not leaving. And I'm kind of relieved about that in a way. You know, I might accuse America of being a lot of things. At the end of the day, I would still class most Americans as my brothers and sisters, you know. So the idea, to me, of Russia just taking over the whole lot, Russia and China, that it's kind of repugnant to me, you know. It's like, especially China, you know. I wouldn't fancy China even running the system, you know. It just no, that doesn't appeal to me at all. Same as being ruled from the Kremlin as well, too, doesn't appeal to me. And I know we have demons in our own halls of power, but at least we know our own demons. Well, at least we kind of have an idea what they're like. Clearly, to me, like, a lot of them need to be cleared out. We need to have the whole shebang needs to be reformed because it's clearly been infiltrated, taken over by some dark forces with a long-term plan. And I mean, I suppose most of the great civilizations always planned, never 10 years, but like 100, 200 years in advance. You know, that'd be like successful. Like China are known for their long game plans. So I'm just thinking about this far right that we're seeing happening around the world, and this far right that Sanity for Sweden is kind of salivating about. What's going to come out of the ashes of what's torn it down? That's what, you know, I'm a little bit pensive about that. Because, you know, it's only when the people get on the brink, you know, really on the brink, that they get desperate enough, hungry enough, cold enough, that they'll do anything that they're told. You know, it is kind of worrying about what might come out of the ashes of this sort of like seemingly what's looking like a right turn in politics here in Europe and America. I mean, it's kind of like it's more like there's something coming out of the ashes anyway. I don't know what it is yet, but clearly there's a change. And I don't think America are going to leave Ukraine. You know, I know Putin is there. He's huffing and puffing behind the scenes, making a lot. Well, he's not making a lot of noise, but like there's pretty stern talk coming out of Russia these days. Very fighting words, you know, like proper fighting words. At the same time, I sense fear from the Russians as well too. I think I think Russia were meant to take that place over completely. I, I think Putin got the green light and says, right, Ukraine is yours, you can take it. So, and I think that's why he went in. You know, these people never do things on their own. Never. Everything is scripted for them. Long-term plans. And I'm thinking that Putin got the green light to take Ukraine. Something changed. I think the plan was to get America and NATO out of Europe, out of Eurasia, out of Eastern Europe, possibly out of Europe completely. Maybe that was part of the plan, was to get America out. They're not budging. They're not budging, and they're getting ready to dig their heels in. They're not coming out of there, and they're willing to bring us all to war for this. But they're willing to do it. Is it that important? How come we're supposed to be supporting NAZI? That bothers me too, you know, it does bother me sometimes. It's like, I'm supposed to be supporting Nazi, and I'm a good citizen. Interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting. So these truthers are going to, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'm finished with them for a while. They drive me nuts. I'm just going to catch up with the chat here, see who's been talking, see anybody talking about me. Hello, Miss Blue Sky. Welcome. Same to you, Jimmy, and all the raccoons in the house. I'm making mushroom paste. Is it paste at the moment? And listening to the show. Well done, Miss Blue Sky. Always busy. Let's see if I can catch up with this. Jimmy, I can come on and keep you company. I know, Uni. You know what? You're like a broken record, Uni. Bloody hell. You know, you have me plagued, right? You have me plagued. I'm seeing your messages. I'm seeing your messages in my private chat. I've been seeing them in the Raconteurs chat. You know, sometimes it might seem like I'm not paying attention, right? I do be paying attention quite a bit, you know. I don't miss too much, right? I see all your messages. The only messages that I didn't see was the spamming that you done there on, what night was it? Saturday night? Was it Sunday? I don't know. I went away. I was here. I had to actually, literally, put the channel on silent. It was just ping, ping, ping. You know, I've never seen the channel like that before. Just wouldn't shut up. So I had to put the channel on silent. So, and then when I came back, there was something like 150 messages. And says, holy shit, man, where are these guys at? You know. But anyway, it is what it is. So it's been that bad lately. I've had to put the channel on silent while uni gets this out of a system, whatever it is that's brewing down there. So look, uni, give it a while, man. You know, you haven't played. I'll give you a shout in a little while. You can come on. Okay. I just wanted to sit and rant and talk bullshit just for a little while, and if you don't mind. Now, and I'm going to apologize if I miss some of your comments. It's my mouse. My mouse is just broken. The scroll wheel is broken on my mouse. I have to get a new one. It was working. It started working there. It was working for about a week, and now it's gone offline again. So it must be something got to do with temperature or something like that. Hello, new being. So South is in the house. How you doing, So South? Paula, how you doing, Paula? Robert Harper is listening in on Facebook. What was that? Like, what's Robert saying? That was the unions in the video you were talking about. They were oligarchs who were manipulating the price of metals, and the unions were their own goals. That's in reference to the Vladimir Putin video. You're right, Robert. Fair play. Cheers for that. Cheers for that. That's Robert over on Facebook, I believe. It's the only one that's has the Facebook logo. So cheers for that comment, Robert. And Kendo, did I say hello to Kendo? I think I did say hello to Kendo. Moving in Sweden, we grew up with the laws of Jante. The law of Jante. Jante, the law of Jante explained. This will make you understand. Okay, I don't know. Okay. How you doing, Spanish? Yeah, you've got Jimmy Doom tonight. Yeah, Doom on, lad. You know, I was just one thing I can't stand is too much hopium. You know, too much hopium just really turns me off. You know, it says, you know, you're in a good place when there's lots and lots of good fear porn and doom porn. But I'm very optimistic, though, Spanish, right? Very, very optimistic, because at the end of the day, I know it seems pretty bleak at the moment. You've got the major powers of the world. They're kind of like, they're facing off. Like we're back to the, could you call it the Cold War Mark II? Would it be fair enough to call it the Cold War Mark II? I think, yeah, there's a possibility that, like, some nukes might be used. I know some people don't believe in nukes, but that's okay. You just have to sort of like get your own show and talk about your opinions. Or you can come on, I suppose, at some stage too and tell us all about how nukes don't exist. But there's a possibility of small tactical nuclear missiles, possibly. But, you know, I wouldn't rule anything out at this stage. But at the same time, though, Spanish, I'm very, very positive. Extremely positive, because because I think the globalists are not getting it their way. I'll put it that way. I think that the globalists, you see, when I think about it, right, and I'm thinking about the likes of like who's behind the globalists and the push for globalization, and you've got your Henry Kissinger's deep in on that path, even though he probably may not be directly sort of like connected to it, like, but he was responsible for building Russia and China up to the superpowers they are today. You know, he's had loads and loads of cozy little pictures with absolute dictators over the years. So, and do you remember back about maybe 2 months ago, Kissinger came out with a statement that says, "Look, it's time to talk. It's time to deal. This. And something tells me that like he's very very worried. Kissinger worried, and he's looking to deal. So what I'm thinking is that like, and this is probably pretty far out there. This is probably really really far out, and I know it'll sound fucking crazy, but I think there's a civil war raging in America right now. It just hasn't gone kinetic, and I think there's a serious pushback from some people who stand to lose an awful lot of their power and wealth because of what's happening right now, and this transfer of wealth and production and means of production over to the east to build up the east, where that'll be the new powerhouse and where everything will be ruled probably by Israel. By Israel. They have the data sensors. Yeah, but it's been a strange war. But I think the people, very very wealthy, affluent, influential people in America, higher than your average middle class, like top people. I'm sure they're sitting back, see the writing on the wall, and what's going to happen if all production and everything is taken out of the West, and the high technology and stuff like that. Sets the stage for the fascist takeover, and I think there's a fight back going on. I'm starting to believe it more and more. The fact that they haven't left Ukraine. I think they were supposed to be gone. I think America was supposed to be out of the picture and back over to America to work on their side of the world. And so I think the globalist plan is busted. I really think so. Now it's just a question of like who retains control. Is it going to go multipolar or is it going to stay unipolar? If Russia and China have their way, we'll go multipolar. And that's what the globalists want. They want multipolar. Despite all the stories and the infighting between Klaus Schwab and Xi Jinping, China, there's been a lot of rhetoric, and even Mr. Poutine was removed off the website of the WEF. Like, how much of that is just for show? What's the bets? Putin, Xi, Netanyahu, all in a cozy little deal with the WEF, push America out, grab control of Eurasia, and rule the world, the center of the world. So, anyway, doom off for the now. I think, I think so. I know it's kind of crazy. It seems kind of bleak. I know when you look at it, it looks kind of bleak, but as bleak as it is, it's just getting started. I think it's just getting started, and I don't think America is going to leave. And you know what? I don't even think it's about the Ukraine war at all. I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think the Ukraine war is a dog and pony show. It's I think the real war is possibly going on between America and Germany. Lots of strange things going on in Germany. They're mobilizing their army big time now. And, I say that's Welsh, Dave. I'll just scroll down a little bit. I'll tell you what, I'll try and miss. I'll never keep up with the chat at this rate. So, as you probably heard, there was a wee little explosion in the Baltic Sea yesterday. A wee little explosion. And unfortunately, it seems that Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 have completely lost pressure. From what I'm hearing, Nord Stream 1 was taken out. But Nord Stream 2 is inactive. Of course, because it was never completed. It wasn't allowed to be completed because America wouldn't let Germany. So, last night, the pipeline is hit in 2 locations, I believe. And there is video. I've seen it in the raccoons, in the raccoons hideout on Telegram. There were a few videos posted of it. I'd already seen them though, but fair play, guys, for posting that stuff there. But yeah, you've got this big fountain of bubbles coming up out of the sea, out of the Baltic Sea, in 2 locations, and it's a serious amount of gas coming off. Serious amount. It's but they reckon it'll be bleeding out for a couple of days. So that's the pipelines completely finished, right? Absolutely finished. So, even if they could fix it up with Vladimir to get a bit of gas moving from Germany through to Nord Stream 1 while it was still operating at a certain level. It wasn't working at max, but this is it. It's toast now. So, who took those pipes out? They were down very, very deep part of the ocean there, the Black Sea, very, very deep. So, lots of rumors that it may have been a sub. So, that's it. Germany's fucked. Germany is fucked. So, why was it so important to take Germany out? Did they have some cozy little plan with Vladimir and Nathan and Xi? Cozy buddies, maybe each vying for a stake in the in Eurasia. Yeah, possibly. So I'm thinking the Americans took it out. That's what I'm thinking. I think it was the Americans. I mean, if Russia wanted to shut down the gas coming through that pipeline, I'm sure there must be a little switch that you just pull over on their end and say, the gas done, right? So, was it the Americans? I'll tell you what, the intrigue. So, we're going to have this to and fro now for the next probably week or two. Well, to get down to do an inspection, and so you'll have everybody blaming everybody else. And I had to laugh, you know. I had to laugh at Zelensky was making a big hullabaloo about it, like and that was an act of terrorism by Russia, you know, and he was talking about blowing up these dangerous pipes. And here's Zelensky's lot; they're lobbing missiles at a nuclear power plant. You know, who's crazier? You know, or they all just as crazy as each other. It's kind of like a comedy show. It's hard to take it seriously as news. You know, it's you have to look at it in terms of comedy. I think that's the only way it makes any sense at all. So this amazing battle now that's going on. And it's it's a world economic battle that's going on. It seems to me like it's a world war, but in economics. And I'm fascinated to see who wins, you know. I'm starting to wonder about these Americans and these Europeans. I wonder sometimes, are they as dumb as they look? Either that or they're very, very clever. You know, it has to be one or the other. It has to be one or maybe a bit of both, but, you know, I mean, like, the stuff that you see going on and being talked about in the West, it's like, it's absolutely crazy, you know. It's you just can't take any of it seriously whatsoever. There isn't one single politician or legislature or anyone that makes the slightest bit of sense. If you were a comedian or a stage writer, you know, you'd probably script it like that, you know. Everybody have their own little script, and you would have to be going around just playing fucking crazy. That's what it seems like to me. It's made for television, that everything you see going on around at the moment. Made for telly, absolutely. Let's see. I'll get through a few more of these. Hello, Kerno. Rick Hayward, hello. Jerry. Jerry Son of Mick. Son of Mick. Son of Mick. Jerry Son of Mick. This bloody mouse is really getting to me. Just have a wee spliff here while I'm going through the chat. Lots of people having a chat with each other. Uni saying Russia and China have intention of taking over the world. Lol. Yeah, it is a kind of lull, really. It is a kind of. Wow, this chat keeps going. This chat keeps going. I'll just scroll right down to the bottom, catch up with where you are now because I'm going back so far in the past. So, how is everybody in the chat? How's life treating you all? I mean, here we are, midweek. It's back to a little bit of rain here, but I think the next day or two have promised okay. Hopefully, might get a bit of work done tomorrow and the next day. Uni saying, Jimmy, you spend way too much time looking at this stuff. Yes, Dad. You're right, Dad. I'll take your advice, Dad. Paula, uni, pot, kettle, black, lol. Yeah, dead right, Paula. Sean is saying, I can't go Mad Max quick enough for me. I'm done with sharing my life with 7 billion Burma sheep idiots who think rights and laws can exist. Yeah. Funny thing about a lot of people in this type, they actually think they exist. You know? And somebody was asking earlier on about inflation and about tax. I think it was in the Telegram group, care to touch on the tax and the inflation. Um, I'm very, very bad with finance. That's the only bits of finance that I get. Like, I try to listen to as many financial dudes as possible and try to get bits and pieces of what they're talking about. But clearly, like, they use a lot of terminology that, like, the average Joe like me is just like, if I sat down and studied it a bit more, you could probably get to the heart of a lot of the terminology that they use. Like, but clearly, modern economics is way too complicated and it's a mess. A lot of the financial guys that I've been listening to were talking quite a bit about the coming crash. And not so much the crash as such, but like the rising inflation. And he was suggesting that there's nothing that can be done about the inflation. So, if I can remember his name was Martin Armstrong. So, basically, what he said they will probably do is they will probably raise interest rates and probably not enough to make any odds, really, like not enough to make any odds because whatever they whatever they raise in interest rates, like I mean, they've put inflation or interest rates up to something like 2.75% there as of the end of last week, I believe, in England. Something similar in America, I believe, as well. And what Martin Armstrong is saying basically is that they will probably, the Fed itself and will probably raise interest rates to make it look that they're trying to do something about it. You see, there's a problem with raising interest rates as well too, because like that wipes out all the asset owners. Um, so if they, that's probably why they're not going to raise interest rates to combat inflation, right? Because they're just going to wipe out so many people who are up to here, and they're all buddies in those circles, like So if the inflation goes too high, they'll wipe their buddies out because they won't be able to keep up like payments. That's why Martin Armstrong was saying they're not going to waste. No, it was Jacob Drazen. Sorry, Jacob Drazen who was talking about this. You know, he was saying like they have two choices. On the one hand, they can burn the poor, or on the other hand, they can burn the rich. One or the other. Which one is it going to be? He made a call. I'm going to burn the poor. Burn the poor. So And that's why he was saying that they won't raise interest rates. It's, they'll just throw it on the average Joe, make the average Joe pay for it. So I think at the moment, like I've been watching the euro dollar. I didn't take a look at it today. No, I think I might actually just go and take a quick look at it. And see what it's doing. There we go. This is not the best chart in the world. But, to give you a look at it as well. So this is Yahoo Finance, and this is the currency pair euro against the dollar. Oh, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's still dropping. It's dropped a good bit now since last night. Look at this. Look at this. Look where it is. It's down at 0.9591. Wait to see this trend line. Let's see if I can. Look at that drop. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. This is the whole timeline of the euro from when it started back here in, when is that? 11/23/2003. So it started off here at a modest price, $1.20 for a euro. 2008, you could get $1.50, $1.60 nearly. That was in 2008. 2014 is when they say the problem started. I'm going to get rid of this here, if I can. That's it, gone. That was a Fibonacci. But I drew this trend line last night. You see this red line here? I drew this trend line last night just to get an idea of how far and how long it would take to get to the bottom. So you do that like by just tracing down all the last lows. So see, you've got a low here, and you've got another low down here, another low down here. So you can actually get a sort of a trend going with a few bars. So where is this going to go? All the way down to 0.79 euro to the dollar. Wow, that would be crazy. But if you look at this, this is on a steady track down. If you were a trader, you would be shocked by this chart here. See, this is where it is now. Look at it. This could go all the way right down to the bloody bottom. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if this keeps going. You see, this is all in the last 2 years. Huge, huge drop. It's never, ever, ever been this low, ever in its history. You can trace it back all the way back. See, nothing down that low. So this was one of the, that was one of the things that I was going to be watching for. Can't remember who it was. It might have been Martin Armstrong who was talking about this aspect of it like that. But once the dollar starts rising and against the euro, and I think you've even got a taste of it yourselves there in the last couple of days in England too. The dollar and pound are on a par. they're on a par at the moment. I think that's an historic event too. So is it going to keep? Is the pound going to go down with the euro? Is that what's going to happen? Weird. Really weird. So, look, I'm kind of, just to step outside the doom a bit, just to step outside the doom, because we can't be in doom all the fucking time, right? Just it's not good. It's not good for the mind. So I'm kind of looking positive about this whole crash business. It's like it could be in a car crash. If you get your seatbelt on, you'll be fine. So if you think about it like this economic crisis has been brewing for a very, very, very long time, since probably 1980, which would have been 10 years after they took us off the gold, off the gold standard. So it was 1972 or thereabouts. So since then, every 10 years it's crashed. And they managed to reset it like all those times. So it's about every 10 years you get a major crash. Since they went onto this system. And the idea was that they were never going to have any recessions, right? And it's true, they didn't. Well, did, but you just couldn't see them, right? And they were bailing out all the companies that should have failed, basically, over the last, however long. Companies that should have failed with a normal recession weren't allowed to fail because they were bailed out. So we're now in a situation now where, like, we're having to, like, back in probably 2000, they were printing in the billions, but now they're printing in the trillions. It's like, it's run away. It's run away. It's just going to go exponential now. The the amount of currency in circulation, it has to break. It has to break. It's the only thing that's going to fix it. It's the absolutely only thing that's going to fix it. So you're talking about a great reset. And I think a lot of the really good commentators are pretty clear about it, that like it's the only thing that can fix it right now is absolute total collapse, and let it fall down. I don't think these guys want to let it go just yet, like, because they're starting to talk about like these digital currencies. Imagine how bad they were printing with paper, paperbacks. They were just, imagine what they'll do with cryptos. Oh, they'll be handing like tokens out like fucking candy, man. Everybody will have billions, they'll all be billionaires. Maybe Charlie Ward is right. This quantum financial system is coming online. Yeah. But yeah, I think a recession is badly needed. And I think we should look on it and take a positive light at all the negativity going on at the moment. Perhaps that the globalists haven't won. Not completely yet, but they're going to be here in Europe. That's where they're going to be when this all fucking goes down. So, anything else going on in the chat box? Spanish. What the fuck is a gram? I'm ounces, pounds, and stones. You said you're a stone, Spanish. Jesus Christ, don't be saying things like that. I think, didn't I have an interesting story that I picked up there? 30 weeks ago. I'll tell you when it was. It was on the show 0807. 0807. Yeah, so we're getting back, right? Getting back a bit. So basically, and this could be interesting just for the get an idea of how these people think. Now, this was an article from the United Nations, and it was scrubbed off their website. But somebody was smart enough to archive it before they got to delete it. So, the title of this particular document was "The Benefits of World Hunger." Right? The benefits of world hunger. So that's already starting to sound like people that we know. We kind of, you know. So this article was published on the Gateway Pundit by Alicia Poe. So she starts off, mounting evidence continues to emerge, proving the food shortage and supply chain disruptions are being manufactured by the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, and the World Health Organization in an effort to institute a new world order, global government, and destroy the United States. So I highlighted a few of the key points in it. So might as well start off here, I think. So in 2009 op-ed published by the United Nations, which is now removed from its website, heralds hunger as the foundation of wealth and a means to bolster the world economy. Hunger must be sustained to exploit manual labour, contends George Kent, professor at the University of Hawaii's Political Science Department, who authored the November 2021 UN the document. He's been quoted here now, this George Kent. We sometimes talk about hunger in the world as if it were a scourge that all of us want to see abolished, viewing it as comparable with a plague or AIDS. But that naive view prevents us from coming to grips with what causes and sustains hunger. Hunger has great positive value to many people, Kent notes. Indeed, it is fundamental to the working of the world's economy. Hungry people are the most productive people, especially where there is a need for manual labor. My God, this guy's good. I like him. Without the threat of hunger, essential low-paying jobs would become vacant. A labour shortage would emerge, and a global economy would cease to exist, Kent continues. We, in developed countries, sometimes see poor people by the roadside holding up signs saying, "We'll work for food." Actually, most people work for food. It is mainly because people need food to survive that they work so hard, either in producing food for themselves, in subsistence level production, or by selling their services to others in exchange for money. How many of us would sell our services if it were not for the threat of hunger? More importantly, how many of us would sell our services so cheaply if it were not for the threat of hunger? When we sell ourselves cheaply, we enrich others. Those who own factories, machines, and the lands, and ultimately own the people who work for them. For those who depend on the availability of cheap labour, hunger is the foundation of wealth. Now, I'll just pop back to the chat there for a bit and see if that triggered anything in you at all. I'll come back to it in a minute. But wow, these people do kind of think in multiple different levels. You know, that's 4D chess, right? That's 4D chess, and he's right. He's He's right in a way. It's a it's a competitive market out there, you know, and that's what we're seeing happening now here in this country as well to Ireland. And you see lots of cheap labour smuggled in from abroad, imported. People coming from very poor countries, and they're thrown into work in all sorts of crazy places like mushroom factories, meat processing plants, you name it, like, you know, brought in, and they're exploited, you know. So basically what's going on is the destruction of an actual living working wage, really, like, you know. And so perhaps that's what's going on in our countries, like they're increasing the populations, put a strain on food, so like everybody will just end up really in a bad state of hunger, like with so much competition over limited stock, and that breeds the ground for a perfect environment for corporations to come in and exploit a large availability of hungry people who will sell themselves cheap, like sell themselves out really, really cheap just to get by. And it does feel like this is where it's going, like, because you see the increases that they're putting on now on everything. Doesn't matter what it is, food, utilities, essentials, building materials. It's like those prices are never coming back. I don't think. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, eventually a point must come where nobody can afford anything anyway, even if it was available, which is where it seems to be going. Like, to me, I could be wrong, but so the inevitable crash, like, but as I say, it was all in their plan, like, you know, all in their plan. So, and hopefully this plan of theirs has actually backfired on them, and it's been taken over. It's been taken over by white hats, you know, the good guys. So I'll jump back to this whole article here and just see if our buddy has anything more interesting to say on this topic of cheap labour and hungry people. So according to the UN, assumptions attributing poverty and low-paying jobs to hunger are nonsense, because people deprived of nourishment have stronger incentive to work. So who would have established massive biofuel production operations in Brazil if they did not know there were thousands of hungry people desperate enough to take the awful jobs they would offer? Kent asserts. Who would build any sort of factory if they did not know many people would be available to take the jobs at low pay rates? Much of the hunger literature talks about how it is important to assure that people are well fed so that they can be more productive. That is nonsense. No one works harder than hungry people. Yes, people who are well nourished have greater capacity for productive physical activity, but well nourished people are far less willing to do that work. Yeah, I think I think we can see the logic these people have. Slaves to hunger are assets to people at the high end. Kent concludes. Slaves to hunger are assets to people. Interesting. So the non-governmental organization Free the Slaves defines slaves as people who are not allowed to walk away from their jobs. It estimates that there are about 27 million slaves in the world, including those who are literally locked into workrooms and held as bonded labourers in South Asia. However, they do not include people who might be described as slaves to hunger. That is, those who are free to walk away from their jobs but have nothing better to go do. Maybe most people who work are slaves to hunger. Yeah, well, it's more than just hunger, you know, as well. So the United Nations Chronicle subsequently issued a statement claiming the article is satire. That sounds like what they said about the Iron Mountain report, that it was satire. This article appeared at the UN Chronicle 14 years ago as an attempt at satire and was never meant to be taken literally. We have been made aware of its failures, even as satire, and have moved it from our side. So the UN are now doing satire. So anyway, I meant to do that story there. Bloody well, weeks ago, as you've seen by the date there. So there you go. It was interesting getting back to that one. I suppose that's one of the benefits, like, of having a man down, having a team member down, and feeling poorly. Sort of like it's. That's why I didn't bring much material tonight, because do you know what? Since I started doing this with Jay, I've just gathered up so much material in the bag there. Never gets covered, so it's sometimes interesting just to go back through it and say, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." And so, oh, do you know what? I might actually show you what I've been doing, like, with the website. You can tell me what you think, and hold on, I'm going to catch up with the chat. Anyway, I'll scroll right down to the bottom of the chat, because look, it takes hours to read the comments, and so I'm sorry if I missed something important, but let's see. I'll show you what I've been working on the last few days, sure. And so this is hopefully going to be the Raccoons website. And when it goes online, so you wouldn't believe it, it's only 2 bloody pages, and I've been at it for a week. And it's not even looking nice yet, but that's what your new home is going to look like. And it's going to be built on open source technology. So the raccoons, our raccoons, we're all going open source. Whoopee. So have you done Dart hitting Dimorpheus, Jimmy? Paula saying, Jimmy, you're doing a grand job. Well, thank you, Paula. Nice one, Jimmy. Hey, mascara. Spanish, sorry to hear that you're having a bad day, lad. It's always a cunt when that happens. So I don't mind if you shut the F up. You know, I don't. Leave it up to you, Spanish. So. All I say is keep rattling on there, Spanish. That's what I say. If I stop when you're on a roll. Chris Partridge. Raccoons, not to be abbreviated. Yeah. I think we're going to need our own chat box too, aren't we? For the outside, for when it gets up and running full steam. Thanks, Welsh Dave. I see Chris is agreeing with Spanish. I get like that sometimes. Sorry, the bad days. Oh, I do have those. I do have bad days, and sometimes, yeah, days plural sometimes, and thankfully it doesn't be too bad anymore. There's a few points in the pandemic now where it got fairly dark. You know, it did get very dark. Kind of can relate now big time to how people live when they're up in the wilderness or top of mountains, and you're isolated. You know, you get isolated, you go into a different way of thinking. It's a different mentality. You're not You don't see anybody, you don't hear anybody. The only people I actually communicated with were online. Everybody around the town here was hiding behind a mask. You know, it was all right for the first 4 or 5 months, but you know, time comes when you have to sort of like start taking care of yourself, you know, and not be listening to so-called experts with their wealth of information, which changes every day. So, Media Mogul is saying, variety is the spice of life, horses for courses. But we need solution, remedy to step out matrix. More Q show. And tell and some high vibe stuff like manifesting and spiritual stuff, etc. on Monday. So mix it up more. I'm not even going to pretend that I understand. So, oh my God. New hours are here as well, Jason. Somebody is sailing away in your show. Yeah, that's a nice one, you being. Found this place so dynamic myself. I get help when I need it, and I can give help when I get stronger. It's so lovely. What's that, new being? So, what else has been going on in this crazy, crazy world? I have no idea. I'll go back and I'll just check on, did I take anything of interest? Of course, Uni is going to be looking to get on as well too, isn't he? So I'll have to get the link in for Uni if everyone wants to come in and get his hit of nationalist socialism. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah, do you want to come on, Uni? Um, and anybody else if you want to. It's all right, guys. I best fix my some audio coming out of my headset because I had just didn't have it plugged in earlier on. Didn't need it. Didn't think I was going to need it. So yeah, I was looking to see did I miss any stories or anything like that over the last couple of days. I know there was lots because I had a quick look through the notes there. I had to go back to see what happened last week anyway. So um, of course, yeah, I nearly forgot. We had this crazy story coming out of Limerick over here in Ireland today. A little Ukrainian girl, 8, fights for her life as mum also critical after suspected stabbing in County Clare. Holy crap, you know? So the 8-year-old is fighting for her life in hospital after suffering stab wounds. The child's mother was also discovered unconscious at the domestic residence and remains in critical also. The two of them are in critical. So. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of that lately. There's an awful lot of kids getting killed. Like, you know, there was that little girl up in Leicester that from a few weeks ago as well. And I'm hearing a lot of a lot of crazy stuff. This last 10, 15 years, the amount of stuff that's happened to kids, right? And even from families of Irish people, you know, normally like a father killing his 3 or 4 children and their mother in one night, and then kill himself. And an awful lot of that's been going on in the last couple of years, like, you know. So it's kind of like an epidemic. Like, who'd stab an 8-year-old child? How you doing, uni?
Fine. I just want to say, dude, like I'm being completely serious here, man. You've really got to lighten up on the news addiction, man. You're really bringing down the show with it, honestly. Like I'm being blunt about with you about this. It's really depressing, and it's honestly kind of pointless. Like why? Like that's why I said in the chat, like, why do you spend so much time looking at the news? What are you getting out of it?
Wow, what an entrance! What an entrance! So why do I spend so much time on news? Why not?
Yes, it's all it is just like all it is just a depressing nonsensical world to live in, and all it does is just not only bring down your mood, but it's pointless. What are you going to do about it? No, none of us are going to do anything about it, so why are we talking about it?
Because there are issues which affect us here in this moment in time.
Yes, but again, we're not going to be doing anything about it. What's the point of looking into it? It's at the end of the
Look,
day.
look. At the end of the day, uni, there's a small family here. Everybody comes to meet each other, right? And if you take a look in that chat box there, how many doomy type of people do you think are in there? Have you taken notice?
Well, define what you mean by doomy type of people.
Fine, doomy. Like me.
I would say that a lot of people in the chat try to stay a bit more positive, like uh, and I'm not just saying this from my own personal interest. There are others in the chat who have been talking about this as well. Like, I'm not trying to have a go at you, Jimmy. I'm just stating what me and some other people in the chat have been saying, that you've been a bit way too focused on the news. Like maybe a bit here and there is fine, but like try to bring it up with some actual, like, with some other things.
Like what?
Now talk about your own personal life, or talk about like
I am talking about myself. I've been talking about myself here tonight. What do you think I've been blathering on about?
just
I'm
you've
talking
been
about
looking at
me.
news feed. I can see the screen.
Huh?
You've been just reading off of articles and stuff. It's like literally like what you were
I
just
did
talking
that.
about.
I hardly read anything tonight. The only thing that I read tonight, right? You obviously think I've been sitting here reading. I haven't. I've been looking at the chat, and I've been talking. I haven't been doing any reading apart from the document about the UN and about how they see the hungry people. That's the only thing I read this evening. So what are you on about? I'm
No,
talking about my life.
no, but you've been talking about Ukraine, you've been talking about Russia and all that, and it's just
We've
like,
talked about Germany. We've been talking about USA. We've spoken about
yeah.
the whole of the world tonight. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I like to
I'm
talk
coming
about
in here
some.
and pretending to be my daddy, and you're going to tell me what to do.
I
All
mean,
right.
yes, Jimmy, I'm your daddy from now on.
Yeah. Do you want to know what happened to my first one?
What happened to him?
Yeah, well, you'll find out. Push the right buttons, man.
Like I
I'm
said, Jimmy, I'm
telling
not trying to have a go at you, man. I'm just saying how I honestly feel, and that's all there is to it.
you. You're welcome to your feelings, like, but I can't, I can't turn my life into something just to please you.
Oh,
You're
that's
irrelevant to me. You're irrelevant.
that's that's mean.
Oh, are we hurt? Did I hurt you? Ah, sorry,
Yes.
daddy. Sorry, daddy.
Go to your room, Jimmy. Boy,
I
boy,
will,
if
but
you
I'll go to
get in
my
that
room.
corner.
You get out of yours.
Ah, damn you! Get in the. No, you need to sit in that corner and think about what you've done.
No, no. I'm a wild kid who don't have enough time to think. Just do.
Don't make me get freaking Denny.
Oh, forget about Dinny, man. Jeez, do you not talk about anything else? Only Dinny. Jesus Christ.
I barely talk about Denny. What are you talking about?
You, every time I see you anywhere, you have Dinnies at the tip of your tongue every time. So,
Not really.
so
I talk.
if you want to be telling me what I should be working on, I think you should be working on getting over Dinny. And he broke up with you, and he's not happy with you anymore. So he went and he's found himself another little boy.
Wow.
Just
Wow, the way you phrased that, man. The way you phrased that just sounded so. You made him sound like a pedophile.
I'm just going by the way you sort of like this obsession that you have with Dinny, and I'm just wondering.
I don't have an
Where
obsession with
does it?
Denny.
Oh yeah, you do. You do.
I don't. I honestly don't see how I have an obsession with Denny. I mean, I talk about other people way more than I talk about fucking Denny.
There's something there because you're always fighting. You know, you can always tell a couple when they be fighting. You know, you
He's
two.
fighting with Jason a lot more than he's fighting with me. That's for damn sure.
No, he doesn't. Jason does have the good sense to get off the call early.
Well, I mean, fair enough.
So come on, what else is on your mind?
Well, the thing is, I've really, I really like animals, and I really like just like going in the wild and just being able to see them and just like try to feed them food. I like getting on their good side. Like for example, yesterday I was out and I was at the marina, the local marina, and I was feeding a bunch of ducks and geese. And what I like about them is like they got them like the geese have these like really long necks, but they're like really soft. But they have like really hard backs on on the other hand, which is really weird in my opinion, just the way that they're structured. It's the same thing with certain breeds of dogs as well.
Yeah,
And that's a,
I like cats because you don't have to do anything for them. Just feed them and let them go. That's it. Never see them.
you got to clean up the litter box though.
No.
You sure? I mean, wait. So, I mean, like, what do you do with cats?
Well, when I'm not eating them.
Damn, what are you? What is this, China?
We I have two cats, but they spend all their time outside. They're outdoor. They don't even want to be in. I hate being inside.
Damn. I mean, there are different types of cats. There's indoor cats and then there's outdoor cats. There's, they enjoy different types of things. It really depends on how they're raised as well, and also their breed. It's just like dogs. I know certain types of dogs. They cannot stand going outside unless it's for a necessary walk. Ah, I also like squirrels as well. Like their little stomachs. Like because usually when I go out to exercise,
Stomachs.
when I go out to exercise, I
They're
sometimes bring
goddamn
peanuts.
rodents, you know.
I mean, I don't care what they are. They're cute and adorable to me, and that's all that matters. And some of them, like there was this one a while ago. He like ran up my leg because he wanted peanuts because he saw I had one, and so I pet his head and I gave him one, and then he just sat in front of me. I love just watching them claw into them with their little paws and their little teeth. I don't know. It's adorable just seeing them do that. But then the crows want to be assholes and be like, "I'm gonna take your peanut from you." Freaking crows are
Wow,
so
you have
mean.
this. You're a real David Attenborough, aren't you? You're America's David Attenborough.
I don't even know who that is.
He's probably one of the most famous wildlife commentators in the world. He studied wildlife everywhere, all over the world. English gentleman.
I mean, I don't study wildlife, but I do like to watch videos on wildlife, like of people just hanging, just feeding animals, or just like or saving them when they need help. Like for example, if you have like an orphaned kangaroo or something like that, you gotta get it to some shelter, otherwise obviously it will die. And honestly, yeah, exactly what Miss Blue Sky said. Yeah, the crows are so damn greedy, man. They eat everything. Like they're like a fucking garbage disposal. You can give them anything and they'll eat it. Same thing with seagulls. They do the exact same thing. They eat fucking everything. Like you can I had like a leftover piece of pizza. I threw it out to them, and the fucking crows just started fighting over it. It was funny. I'm just like, damn, you guys eat everything, don't you?
Yeah, well, they're keeping your backyard clean and tidy. It's their job.
True.
Slave labor.
They eat like little bugs and stuff too, don't they?
So we need a poll then to what people want to talk about then.
I mean, we could talk about freaking what's been going on there in Ireland.
I don't know. I only live here. No, well, I don't care what happens in Ireland. It's irrelevant. It's a nothing of a place. Nothing happens here. It's just, the politics is so boring. It's not even worth following.
Damn, it's that bad over there?
Yeah. That's why I follow international affairs. Because you always find something really exciting going on. Some drama.
You know what? I can't blame you there. I can't blame you for that because honestly, fucking American news to me is exactly the same. It's just Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, fucking shit.
Oh yeah. Our boy Trump. Will he be back in 24?
I don't know, and I do not give two fucks because honestly, I'm so sick of hearing about the guy. He's just freaking like honestly, he's like it's worse than when fucking it's worse than when 9/11 happened and you see like all these you see all these people talking about Bush saying that he did it and all that stuff, and I'm just like, yo, it's just like, can you get this guy's name out of your fucking throats? It's the same thing with Trump now. It's like the media cannot keep his name out of their throat. I feel like they have a secret crush on him because they give him ratings. Anytime that they talk about Trump, that's probably the thing that gets them ratings. Because they know no one gives a shit about fucking Ukraine for the most part because you barely hear about it, except for of course the same rhetoric over and over again. Putin invaded and he invaded the sovereign nation and we need to we need to fight back. They're still saying the same rhetoric.
Right. You don't be you can't be getting your news from places like that. Disreputable sources. Yeah, you have to dig sometimes to find real news.
Well, yeah, I mean, and by digging, I assume you mean not watching it in fucking television.
Yeah, exactly. Like just getting your fingers dirty and just searching out a couple of articles and.
I mean, yeah, and I don't mean like the ones that like because the thing is because with me, I get like automatic like recommendations of articles to look at. It's not like stuff that I would personally care about. It's like stuff that like mainstream freaking stuff recommends. Like say, like here's one for example: Wheel of Fortune under fire for televising racist puzzle. Like what? I didn't even know that show was still running.
What did you think of Trump's comments there 2 nights ago about what America needs?
I didn't hear it.
I'm not finished yet. Just give us a moment. So basically what he was saying was America now needs a Putin or a Xi. You know what? I think he's probably right. It's probably going to take someone long term to fix that fucking shithole over there that you've got that you call a country.
I feel differently. I feel like that this place needs to fall apart. Like that this country just needs to fall.
Now who's getting all doomy?
I'm not being doomy. I'm just saying. I'm just stating what I think.
You look doomy.
I mean, at least I'm not sitting in a room with the with lighting. It makes my head like half of my face look all shadowy, like I'm in a James Bond movie. Come on, you look way more doomy than I do.
Yeah, that's part of my fashion. You know, you go find your own fashion. Don't mind.
I don't care about fashion. I mean, I have a fucking Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh poster in
Obviously.
my background. I can't really be doomy when I have a Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh poster literally sitting on the wall behind me.
Well, you'd be surprised the types that you find going around.
Maybe.
I've seen it all. I've seen it all.
By the way, as far as Jason goes out, I'm hoping he gets better. It's never fun being sick. I haven't been sick in a while, but I know that I know the pain of being sick. It fucking sucks. It's like you lose all your strength, like both physically and mentally. You just don't want to do anything, even eat, depending on how sick you are.
Well, it sounds like you've slept through pretty much most of it so far. So chances are he'll probably finish off that way too.
Yeah, but
Although he was
hopefully
in
he
the
gets
chat
better.
there tonight. He was in. I don't know if he's still in the chat now, but he was in there earlier on.
But yeah, I saw him in the chat earlier. Yeah, whether he's like you said, I don't know if he's here or not. By the way, like I said before, I'm not spamming the group chat. I'm only posting things in it that I feel are relevant for you guys to see. I'm not gonna post random shit. Like
I know. Come here, the first day you arrived, you posted a list of 40 things to watch, and you know what? I didn't watch one of them. I didn't even look at them. Just, you know.
at least you're honest about it. I'll give you that. At least you're not gonna tell me you watched it and didn't actually do
No,
it.
no, no. Anybody who does that, drops that many fucking links, I don't listen to him. You know?
Damn.
Yeah. It's too much. Less is more. Less is more. And
Yeah,
that's
maybe I overdid it. I only did it because I was I felt I was like, hey, you know what? I can finally show you guys stuff that actually would recommend that you guys look at instead of just talking about it in the chat. Because since I'm almost never the host, like obviously unless I'm on my own channel, I can never like screen share you guys anything. So like, and because you and Robert were given permission by Jason, I mean, I would like to have that permission too to be able to share stuff. But uh so that's partly why I did that. But I haven't really been doing that. I've only been posting like one, maybe two at a time, and even then, only like once a day or something like that. I don't want to flood the chat. Like for
that's nice to
example,
hear anyway. It's good to hear.
yeah, like for example, I posted a link to a website that I definitely feel like that everyone should take a look at. It's and maybe consider joining. It's a very good one. It's called radioaldian.com. It's a very good website. I know I've talked about it before. It's a very very good website. They host daily shows on
I
there.
think I was on that. I think I followed the link that you gave to there. I think. It's a
Yeah,
while back.
they have different hosts on there, several different. And they do shows almost every day. Like they do different things. Sometimes they'll do music, sometimes they'll talk about the news, other times they'll like talk about personal things. They'll do like all sorts of things, and sometimes they have guests on as well. It's a very very good website, and plus you could and unlike most other social media sites, you can say whatever the fuck you want, and no one ever freaking gets on you for anything. You can say, like, you can say as much racist or politically incorrect shit as you want, and you will not get attacked for it. I mean, even Gab has I've seen censors people, which says a lot.
Yeah, well, it's all been censored, and it's all been psyop. Like, I came across an interesting story there about 2 weeks ago about how there's a review going on now, an internal military review of all the currently running psyops operations and sort of like military mind operations going on like that. And there's a whole review going on now. I wonder what that's about. They didn't give away much information about it. So they're going to reassess probably all the data they got and have picked up till now. So it's all those, all your Getters, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your YouTubes, they are probably all military run behind the scenes, like, you know, in the dark shadows, you know, while you got like your Zuckerbergs with the front faces, like, but it's really like your CIA, FBI running it behind the scenes, probably.
Well, yeah, the military
Department of
literally
Defense as well.
invented the military literally invented Google. I mean,
Mm.
there's a ton of articles on that. They invented it, and created it. Same thing with which one was it? Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube? I forget what. I don't think it was YouTube. It was one of the other social. It was one of the social media sites. The military and the FBI and CIA were behind its creation. I think it was Facebook. As a like, yeah, I remember it was Facebook because they were using it as like a social experiment, basically.
Mm.
Basically to
Indeed.
control people's minds and get them addicted to the fast instant clicks, share your daily freaking things on to random people that may or may not actually be real people.
Well, rumor has it that's how Trump won the first time round, was through the help of Cambridge Analytica. Remember them?
Nope, do not remember.
Oh, you don't. You don't. They were caught out, like, you know, Cambridge Analytica, like they were caught out like by a reporter, Channel 4 News, I think it was. Uh, Huge scandal going on, like about how Cambridge, like, was sort of like, how would you say, getting everybody's user data and selling it off, like parcels and packets and stuff like that. And also running campaigns as well inside Facebook, advertising campaigns, and you know they knew exactly who to target. You know, like, you know, they know exactly who they're targeting. Obviously, this technology that they've got is like, it is kind of like pretty advanced. Like, you know, it's not AI or anything like that. Like, but it is advanced technology, software and stuff like that. So, um, plus now that they're gathering so much data, it's like it must be crazy. You know, imagine the servers that you need to hold all the data that they're capturing. Like, you know, they want to know what everybody's doing and and where they are, what they're spending their money on. Imagine like the amount of data that they're going to be capturing. Mad.
Imagine how big of a USB they need. They probably would need one that's probably the size of a house.
Back in the
Funny.
old days, around my dad's time, Ma's time, and they'd always have family located in England somewhere. But the thing about it is, though, everybody knew the phones were tapped back then. Everybody was always really careful about what they said, like, you know. And I know it's nothing like it was today, like, but back then, like, the old telephone lines was all there was, you know. Unless you were writing letters, like, and even they could be intercepted as well too, like. But um, I suppose it all started back in those days, like back around when the telephone exchanges opened up, like, you know, and, it was easy to spy on those networks, and they've still got that backbone, you know, and they can do what they like with it, you know, and it's a huge, it's a huge one. It's one of their top tools, I think, when it comes to manipulating like lots of people en masse, and if they want to get them, target them for mind control, it is. It's like they're doing mind control on people because they know what people are thinking, how they're thinking. They know what they're likely to do, what they're likely to buy, what they're, you know, what they're likely to be doing maybe next week. Even they gather so much data on their users, like so. It's big money business, man. Big money business,
Oh yeah, information is a big industry.
and not
It's
just
one.
that, and the control as well. It's not just the business; it's the control that you've got. Like, you know, if you, how many users does Facebook have? Is it, it's 1.5 billion? Is it, or something crazy like that?
I don't. I mean, honestly, I don't really think that many people in the world use Facebook. I mean, maybe I'm being naive, but honestly, that seems like too
No,
big
I
of a
think
number.
there is. I think it is. It's over 1 billion, I think.
Yeah, but how many of those are bots though? Like, how many of those are actual real people?
I'd believe their numbers. I believe their numbers. I would.
I mean, maybe you're right. It's just I don't know. It's just that like there's plenty of people in the world that don't even use the internet in general, let alone use something like Facebook. So I don't know. I just freaking unless the majority of those people come from fucking China or something like that.
Yeah, you imagine the world a very Spartan sort of a place, do you? Like there's not much going on. Oh, outside of America and Europe and places like that, like technology-wise. I think a lot of these African countries and far out places, yeah, I think they're doing all right with internet. So that, like, you know, there's very few who don't have a mobile phone, even in tribal communities anymore.
What, even third world countries, people use phones?
Of course, yeah.
Fair enough.
Of course. Some parts of the country, like, you know, there's Africa's very rich, you know. Don't be fooled by it. There's a lot of poor people, but Africa's extremely rich. They've got lots of reserves of everything, gold, oil, you name it, gas. So
Yeah, but what about the common man though? The average Joe.
it's a very corrupt place, you know. Obviously, it's very, very corrupt.
Well, I mean, Africa's with all the shit that's been going on there for the past few hundred years, considering what for example, what the Crown did over there in Africa. Yeah, that's just one example. It's been really fucked up over there. I know
Oh, the
Jason got on a
Crown
couple of
done
good
that
stuff.
everywhere. They done it everywhere. So they ruled the world at one point. It's questionable. Maybe they still rule it.
I don't think the Crown rule the fucking world. I think that I mean, just look. There's this nice picture of Jacob Rothschild basically snubbing, like pointing down at fucking Prince Charles, right, or now King Charles, I guess, right in his right in his face on camera. It's just basically his way of saying to Charles, "You're not the one in charge. You and your family are not the one in charge here. My family is the one in charge."
Oh, I don't know. I think I know I've seen that photograph doing the rounds, and I'm not so sure I believe that.
I mean, like, for example, I mean, you can go back to
You
the
get
days
all
of
that information from a photograph, yeah?
Well, obviously, there's no obviously that if one photograph doesn't prove it. It's just evidence, if anything.
Circumstantial.
And plus, I mean, I guess you'd have to look at the circumstance.
You need an independent third-party eyewitness to the events who's seen and heard, you know?
I know, but like, especially if you go back to the days of Queen Victoria, she didn't rule England. Fucking Rothschilds did. I mean, there was countless attempts. There was countless examples of that throughout her reign as queen.
Don't know much about her, man. You'll have to tell me at another time, because I doubt you'll be able to tell us the life story of herself now in 7 minutes.
No, I don't know that much about her either. All I know is my expertise is 20th century history, not beforehand. So I don't know. Like,
Who's Kendo saying that to? Stoned again, James. Lol. Oh, James Owens is in the house. I see. How you doing, James? Sorry, I haven't been paying too much attention to the chat. Like this, our American correspondent is sort of like keeping me distracted.
By the way, I couldn't like I kept on asking you, like, one of you guys to come on, like last time I was broadcasting, and no one showed up.
Oh, come on now. I've done my bit, man. I spent 6 hours on your bloody show one fucking night, man. Nearly killed me.
Fair enough, I guess, but you know.
And I seen your last show. That went off, what, 5.5 hours? Are you crazy or what?
I wasn't intending it to go for that long. Basically, when you're free,
No
when you're
wonder
free,
people don't want to go on, man. Keep you
basically,
entertained for 5 hours, 6 hours. Holy fuck.
but basically, the reason why I did that is because it's just like on StreamYard, you get 20 hours. If you have the free version, you get 20 hours a month to broadcast. And I still have like a whole bunch left over, and I wanted to use it, and I want to use it all up before the month is over. And so that's why I was just like, hey, you know what? Let me just have a long broadcast and just show a whole bunch of videos. If someone comes on, we can talk for a bit. And if no one comes on, I'll just keep airing videos. Why not? And it's pretty much what I did.
How are you managing for copyright material and stuff like that? How do you filter all that out?
I haven't gotten any kind. I don't do any kind of editing. But YouTube just hasn't gotten on me for anything. But then again, I don't really show copyrighted material. I show presentations from people on like BitChute and stuff like that.
It's really bad. Like Facebook won't even they won't sit down and listen to 5 hours of you either.
Oh no! I mean, the average Joe can't listen to anything longer than 5 minutes.
I know. So like these long marathons of yours are counterproductive. 10 minutes.
I don't usually do long marathons. I don't usually do them. It's just it's just a matter of like, if I have anything better to do, basically. And I was planning to like I kept on saying multiple times throughout the show. I was like, okay, I'm gonna end it right now. And then I ended up just not doing it. Oh, Jason. Hey, Jason.
Good man, Jay. Welcome,
doing all right?
bro.
Hello.
Oh man.
I'm feeling shocking, man.
Jesus.
But I tell you what, hang on a minute. Just give me a second.
Sure, yeah.
I'm feeling shocking, man, but I just can't. I just can't listen to fucking Uni. We are having to just say to him, right? Because all these opinions and everything that he's got, none of it is based on personal experience. So he needs to go out and have some personal experiences.
I do have
Otherwise,
some
it's worthless. Your opinions are worthless unless they're based on personal experience. Anyway, what you fucking faggots up to anyway? Fuck me, I've been asleep for like days.
Yeah.
I tell you what, old Leeds has got some fucking, he's got some shit to answer to, Annie. Or that hospital that he's in. But at least he's getting better. I spoke to his missus. I texted his missus earlier on today. And I said, I can't look, I'm sorry, I can't get up because I've got COVID. Me and my missus has tested positive for COVID. I've not tested, but she's tested positive for COVID, and I've got just the same shit. So I said, I've got fucking, I've got COVID. And she went, oh, well, well, he's getting better every day. He's getting stronger every day. So, yay. You can have a bit of my life force.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, if Super Leeds gets through COVID in that fucking death trap, man, fair play to them. It'd be hard to keep them down.
Listen, that's what we want. We want him. I'll take a few days illness.
It takes you won't be clear for about 10 days after a negative test. I think is it another 10 days you have to wait or something?
I ain't got a fucking clue. I don't even take no notice. I'm just doing what my wife tells me. She's in bed at the moment. She went to bed, and we keep like missing each other. So I'm in bed because after I went to bed after I did show on Friday, when I went to bed, I didn't get up while 6:30 on Monday. So I'd had, gone through like 2.5 days just sleeping. And I still feel fucked. And then I think I got up at 6:30 and I still went to bed at 9 last night. So and just wipes you out, man.
Yeah. You can certainly tell by you, man. It's really, it's giving you a kick up the rear end for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's. But anyway, how are you lot?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. No complaints. Apart from I'm a bit doomy or something. I'll have to
You're a
work
bit
on that.
doomy, yeah. You've got. I heard that. I heard someone say that. You said that you were a bit doomy. I don't think you're doomy. I think you're just like telling us what it is. You know, doomy's doomy. You don't have to be doomy. Doomy's how you take it, innit? You don't like go, oh, that's all doomy and that, because it ain't. You know.
Yeah.
Doom is how you take it. Doom is on the eye of the beholder.
Beauty is the doom in the eye of the beholder.
But I'm just to me like you were talking about like little kids being killed, and I'm like, oh, like damn, like you don't gotta. It's like, bruh, come on.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of like really sad, like a little 8-year-old Ukrainian. She got out of the war zone and she ended up getting stabbed and left critical here in Ireland. Crazy, man. What the fuck? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about any of that.
Nah.
I've just ignored well, I've had to ignore everything. Only thing that's been happening to me is I couldn't find my keys for an entire dream. Fancy an entire. Can you imagine if you went to a film? Can you imagine how disappointing this is? If you went to a film and you thought, right, great, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch this film, and this film lasts for a few hours, and all that film is somebody who can't find the keys, right? And that were my dream, and it must have lasted 8, 9, or 10 hours or whatever. So imagine how fucking gutted you'd be that if you went to see a film and it were like right long, and then somebody and then even in end they didn't find them. That's what's fucking going on. That's what goes on with this shit.
That does happen to me in my waking hours as well, you know. I've had days where it just it always happens to me. I don't know if this happens to anybody else. You know, you're holding something and it just falls at your feet, right? And you won't be able to find it. You can look all you like, you won't be able to fucking find the damn thing. And about 2 or 3 hours later, it'll be sort of like in around where it should have been. I don't know how these objects do these things. It's kind of defies physics. Like obviously, there's something wrong with the laws of physics, you know.
Have you ever done that though? Have you ever done that though, Jimmy? You know when you've been looking for something, right? And you've been looking for something, and you think to yourself, "Fucking, I know this is somewhere." And I've sometimes stopped, looked up, and just gone, "Can you just please show me where it is?" And then a couple of minutes later, I found it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, whether it's psychological or what, but I do. I find it.
I've come to
Asking
the
the universe for help. Fucking hell. And if anybody needs to ask the universe for help, it's uni.
The universe even the universe turned back in disgust.
Yeah.
Damn. That's
Turned
deep.
back on uni. I don't know. I think you might be an infiltrator into this fucking organisation that we're built up here. You know.
If I'm an infiltrator, then I'm the worst infiltrator in history.
Well, yeah. Well, we could say that. I don't know why you're bragging. He's trying to brag now, isn't he? He's trying to brag, saying he's the worst infiltrator in history. Huh? Not only is he an infiltrator, he's the worst infiltrator in history. And he's bragging.
Oh, man.
Fucking hell, I keep kicking my fucking dog, but he will fucking sit at my foot.
Freaking Watson.
But you know, you were saying how that dream went on for about 8 hours. Is it also possible that it could have only been a fraction of a second?
It could have been a fraction of a second. And in fact, times, it don't really exist, does it? if no one's keeping score, time doesn't exist.
Well, only we do down here, like, but if you
Yeah, that's what I mean. But if no one's keeping score, time doesn't exist at all. But it doesn't, though, does it? If nobody is keeping score, time doesn't exist. Change exists, right? And what we've done is we've invented time, and then we've aligned it with how things change. But time itself doesn't. It doesn't change. Change is there. No, we've got late fucking winter. Well, no, we just decided we're going to be fucking late this year.
Isn't there something to one of these weird ideas that they're talking about, the observer and the observed, and that, like, the very fact that you're observing changes something that would happen, like, or cause it to happen, like, you know, just because you're looking at it, like, and you see it, like. I've been doing some, like, really crazy sort of, like, thought experiments on these ideas about, like, how we react on a quantum level to things around us. You know, it's like, I don't know whether I believe any of it, like, but it you know, in a universe as crazy as this, you know, I just wouldn't rule anything out either. You know,
well, give some examples of that.
Of basically between the observer and the observed.
Yeah, the quantum reaction you were talking about.
Oh yeah. Tangible. Like, did you ever see that experiment that they were doing, like, where they had people laying down, like, with sensors on their on a helmet that they were wearing, like, and they were focusing on these balls that were coming down this sort of, like, ramp, and there was holes, and they were trying to see if they could figure out if the person, like, sitting there interacting and observing these balls come down was having an effect on the way the balls were dropping. You know, that'd be one sort of example of an experiment that I can think of straight off the top of my head, was where they were trying to observe this phenomenon that they believe exists.
Right, okay. So they believe that balls dropping would, people observing that would have an effect on the balls dropping themselves.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting concept, really, isn't it? It's an interesting theory. But then what you have to do is you have to sort of dig deep into things that fucking science don't really want to dig deep into.
Well, you're on very, very dicey ground, you know. It's all very theoretical, you know.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's fucking. You just don't know what the fuck is. This is the age, isn't it, where, you know, you don't know what the fuck is the fuck. You just don't know. I mean, It might come out in, like, you know, after revolution and that uni all along were a fucking robot sent to infiltrate this Raconteurs news.
I mean, to be fair, Jason, you're sounding more like a robot right now. You're sounding all staticky, so I think you're the robot.
Am I sounding staticky?
I bet, yeah.
I might have my belly on me.
You're all right, though. We hear you just fine, Jay. You know,
yeah.
We hear you just fine.
Yeah, we can still hear you just fine.
Your audio is basically sort of like mirroring how you look and how you must feel.
Oh, I feel fucking shocking, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like fucking Pauline Smith's minge after a fucking Friday night disco in Squirrel.
Yeah. And come here, are you able to scuttle around and still able to breathe and stuff like that, or are you getting effects like you might have altitude sickness, difficulty breathing? Not difficulty, but just very, very labored breathing.
No, well, not really. No.
No.
I've always been a good breather. All right. and I seem to be on that. All right, I do get a bit out of breath because I'm just that tired, but I feel that's like, you know, just because I'm just fucking tired. I'm becoming a bit more fucking laboured. No, my breathing's fine. I've got no problem breathing and getting about. I'm getting about and that, and I've cleaned kitchen up earlier on. You know, it's just because there's two of us as well, and we're we've got fucking people in doing garden as well. So I've just had a new fucking a skip delivered this morning, and then, you know, there's just shit getting done, and it's just fucking coming on top of us. So we're trying to sort it between us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now she's in bed, and she's been in bed for the last couple of hours, and I'll go up, and then probably later she'll, you know, get up, and so I let gardeners in tomorrow and what have you. So it's just crackers, man. It's just, you know, I'm trying to infect as many people as possible. And that's the other thing as well. I've got a prostate fucking appointment tomorrow to have a new fucking socket fitted, and I've had to cancel it because I can't really, you know, because I've got COVID, so I don't want to go if there's people there that are vulnerable, you know, more vulnerable than me. So I've had to cancel that. So that's pissed me off and all. So you know, I'm not taking this like lightly. You know, I'm not being flagrant around other people's safety and what have you. I don't want to go and spread it everywhere. So I've cancelled that, which is I've been waiting for God knows how long. But anyway.
Yeah. So there you go. You can scrub. It wasn't the food at all then.
No, it weren't food. No, it was fucking COVID.
Yeah, it wouldn't look good. Go back to the restaurant and say, "Hey, look what you done to me."
But it weren't a restaurant. I'd prepared that meal.
Oh, I thought you got it out when you were out and about. Sorry.
No, I prepared that meal, so it made me feel even a bit worse. If I can. Anyway, I'm gonna go because I am fucked and I'm gonna go to bed, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? Thanks for calling in, Jay. Appreciate it. Like, you know, saved me from uni there. And
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, you could do worse than me.
Yeah, I don't know how much worse. Probably Jimmy Savile or fucking I don't know, fucking Pat Sharp might fucking do worse than you. But look, you've still got a load of refining to do. But we'll get there anyway. Yeah. Cheers anyway, Jimmy, mate. And thanks for everyone who's sat around.
Look forward to getting you back. We'll see what happens Friday. Look, we'll hold the fort Friday if you're not back. And look, you take care. Say good night to everybody in the chat there, bro.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Take it easy, everybody.
And there you go. Mate. You see, the coof is real. The coof is real. So, guys in the chat, listen, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And Uni, last words.
Well, everyone, you know, stay safe. Try not to get depressed over what's happening in the world. Just do your thing and go and feed and play with some animals, because they are very friendly and they will be friendly with you if you're friendly with them.
Yeah, there you go. Listen, guys, good night. Take care.